Hello everyone, welcome to lecture number 2 of ServiceNow scripting course. So yes, let's get started and let's go to our background script. Okay, yes, so this is lecture number 2. Previously, what we have covered, like variable declaration. Okay, then we have covered arithmetic operators, arithmetic operator, assignment operator, and comparison operator. So today we will look into logical operators. So what are logical operators? Basically, the Boolean functions. So if you add this AND operator, OR operator, and NOT operator, basically this, the negation sign. This is AND operator, this is OR operator, and this is NOT operator. Okay, so what does that mean? What is AND, what is NOT? So suppose there are two conditions we are dealing with. Okay, and we want to see the combined result for that. So there are two conditions that are returning Boolean values, which is true and false. We want to combine those results, and based on that results, we want to perform some logic. Okay, so suppose first result. Suppose we want to see first result. So the first result is, suppose, is 18 is greater than 25, and second result is, suppose 24 is greater than equal to 22. Okay, I know these are very vague conditions. Like we already know the answers, but for now, for the simplicity, let's take this example. So, how the two logical operators, the two Boolean results will combine, and how do we perform the logical operators? Okay, suppose gs.info final result, the first result, and second result. Okay, so we know what is that answer. First result is false, and second result is true. So what will be the this? Suppose this is false and this is true. What will be the answer? If I run this, false. So AND operator works in a way it will return true only if all the Boolean values are true. Okay, but same thing if we try with OR operator. As the name suggests, let me append uh, AND operator. Okay, let's copy this and close this OR operator. So AND operators is returning false and OR operator is returning true. So what does that mean is for AND to work, all values should be true. And for OR to work, any value should be true. This is false and this is true. So false and true is false because AND operator needs all values to be true. And OR operator basically checks only for a single true and it returned true. Okay, so we will cover these logical operators in the next lectures in a very clear way or in a like a very logical or descriptive way. But just for introduction, I have introduced what is operators, like logical operators. Okay, and I can see you how does that look. So suppose if we are talking about AND operator, okay, so suppose AND operator. So if we see the matrix chart, suppose and let me draw this. So suppose a value is true. Suppose first value, second value, and their result. Okay, and their result. True, false is false. False, true is false. False, false is false. Only if both the values are true, then the result should be true. Okay. Suppose first value is returning true and second value is returning false. So the result will be false. First value is false, second value is true, then it is also false. Both the values are false, then it is false. But only if both the values are true, then it will be true. This is the case of AND operator. Okay. Same if we talk about the matrix chart of OR operator. So if both the values are false, result will be false because for OR operator we need a value to be true. But if a single value is true, result will be true. And both the values are true, it will be true. Okay. So the basic purpose or the use case for this is if you see, suppose you want to vote. There are two conditions to vote. You have to be resident of India and age greater than 80. So this is the AND operator. It will check. Basically, this is the AND operator will be check. So if any value, if any answer is false, you are not eligible to vote. For for you to vote, you should be resident of India true and age should be greater than true. If any of the condition will fail, you will not able to vote. So this is the use cases of AND operator, where you want to define some conditions and based on that you will get the result. Okay. Also, suppose suppose there is a condition car loan. Okay. Suppose you want to purchase a car loan. So to process your application, either you have an income greater than suppose 10 lakh or which is this. You have a cache of more than 4 lakh in hand. So if you met any of the conditions, suppose you have a in-hand cash of 4 lakh, but your income is not above 10 lakh, your car loan will be approved because any condition should be true to process this car loan. Okay, so this is how the use case of and or logical operators will work. Okay, let me write logical operators. And the third one, which is not operator, basically not operator will reverse the result. Okay, suppose let me copy this and paste it. So not operator. You know, first result is false. Okay, but we want to reverse its value. We have to simply put this sign, this sign. So it is false. So if I run this, it will become true, true. And if I remove this, it will give me false, which is the exact value. Okay, so this is how logical operators work. Now, our next topic is basically our next topic is string, but before that, we want to see some type conversions. Like what are the type conversions we had? So type conversions. Suppose we have introduced we have data types. Data types we have number, string, boolean, undefined, etc., etc. Like so, these three are the most like commonly used. So these three are important for us. So suppose I have a string. I have a string of 15, but I want to convert this to a number. So how should we achieve this? So uh, let's do this. We can use number and parentheses, and then we can put our string. So if we run the script, I will get 15. Now, how would I verify this 15 is of type number? So I can put a plus sign to concatenate strings, then space, then plus, then I can write type of string. So what we can do is can string it is equals to not string to number. Okay. So now first we have a string. Okay. Uh, like normal string. Okay, let's do this properly. Normal string we have 50. Then we have declared a variable string to number and convert this string to a number. Then how should we check? So we can put type of in front of this variable, type of string to number. And if I run this, okay, string is not defined. Okay, so we have changed the variable name. Yep. Yes. The string to number type is number. Okay. We have verified. This is a simple string, normal string, but I want this string to be a number. So I can do the type conversion using this format, number, then in parentheses, what I want to place. Okay. If you hover if you hover over any of this function, you will see you have to put any value, then it will convert to a number, an object that represents a number of any kind. Okay, so we have many ways to achieve this. So, like, suppose now, but in place we have 15 pixel, suppose 15 px. Now I want to convert this to a number. If I run this, what will happen is it will show me number, but if I type this, but if I print this, okay, string to number, and let's comment out this. You can see it is throwing an error because we have not a number. Because what number does is it 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 is only capable of converting a numeric part, but not the string part. So suppose we have converted 15 to a number 15, but what about px? So for handling those complex situations, we have another type of function which is known as parse int. So if we type normal string and then again print it, it will give me 15. So what is the difference between number and parse int? So number is only capable of converting numeric part, but if we have characters, it will fail. So for handling those situations where we have character, we can use parse int. Okay, we can write about this like a normal definition. So number conversion, it is a strict conversion. What does that mean is only able to work on digits. Okay, but if there is a character, it will fail. Okay, then parse int. So what it does is it is not strict. It extract integers or numbers and stops when it encounters any character. Okay, so if we want to show, if I want to show you, so number, basically number is strict. If it is a string, it can convert it. But if you encounter, suppose 15 pixel, it will throw not a number because this part will break the number functionality. Okay, so parseInt is not strict. So suppose if we give 15px to parseInt, it will go to 1, it will print 1, it will go to 5, it will print 5, and when it encounters a digit, it stops. So our final result is this. So why should we use number if parseInt is like more powerful? Because suppose we have a floating point number, like a decimal number, like 10.5 in a string, and we want to convert to a number, it will convert it. But parseInt will only print 10 because 1 is okay, 0 is okay. Like when it encounters a non-digit value, it stops. So we have only half value. So that is why we have different use cases to use number and parsing. Okay, I can like show you as well. So suppose let's comment out these. Okay, suppose gs.info. I want to convert number 10.5. Okay, same. I want to convert 10.5 using parsing. I run the script. You can see number has the capability to convert even decimal floating point numbers, but percent will stop work after this decimal because it is a non-digit number. Okay, and we have also uh, some more things like suppose we have mm, yes, suppose we have boolean value false and same in percent we have false. It will return zero, but it is not able to like convert this false value because in false we doesn't have digits. Okay, so you can see number will return false as zero, but percent will fail. It will return not a number. Okay, so different use cases. Then again same thing. Suppose we want to convert string, then we can use string functionality just like number string. Suppose I want to convert 123 in string. I can write and 123 is now a string. And same, we have another thing. Suppose I want to convert 11221 to string. Okay, so as you can see, and if we type of this, it is not a number, now it is a string. So if I run this, it will show me as a string. Same for this. If I put type of in front of this, it will show me string. So just like number, we have two ways. First, we can use directly string, and then we can use toString. Okay. There are some minimal difference you can look out for, like like in the Google or what is the difference between string and toString. This is your task or activity to find out the differences. Okay. Then suppose we want to convert values to Boolean. Okay. So suppose Boolean. Suppose I want to convert 5 to the Boolean and same I want to 0 to the Boolean. So 5 is true and 0 is false. Now there's a very important concept in Boolean conversion. We have a very important concept of truthy and falsy values. So what is this? So we have only 7 types of falsy values. Okay, which are false, 0, -0. Okay, empty string and null, undefined and NaN, not a number. So if I show you false, 0, -0, empty string, null, undefined and not a number, they will all return false. But apart from that, truthy values, all values are true except from above. Any values which are not this are true. Okay, so if I comment out this, and if I suppose -5, okay, uh, 0 in strings, okay, any random number or any object, they are all true. Okay, so we have a concept of truthy and falsy values. So these are the values which will return false always, and all the values except from these values are true values. Okay, so this is an important concept, and this concept will be used in logical operators and in comparison operators, because comparison operators and logical operators work on Boolean values. Okay, yes. So now next part is introduction to strings. Strings. Strings is a very like vast concept, and we have many built-in functions in strings. Okay, so let's see what are strings. So how can we declare string? Okay, like how can I declare an string? So I have showed you simple using variable first name John. You can declare a string. Okay, and if you gs.info first name, you can print John. And if you see what is the type of this variable, string type. Okay, now suppose uh, we have two strings. Okay, suppose we have two strings. First name, let me first name, and we have second name or maybe last name. Okay, suppose we want to concatenate that. This is a concept of string concatenation to add strings. Okay, so if I print this first name plus last name, if I run the script, you can see John Adam, but we want a space in between. So what we can do, either we can put a space in the back, like in the back of this, or in the front of this. Any of this will work. So we have provided space at the end of John. So now, okay. Also, if we want, we can remove the space here and we can put a space like that, because it is a string, it is a string, and it is a string. So it will work. Okay. This is the concept of string concatenation. Okay. Now, suppose there is a sentence. Okay. Like John's car. You can see it is throwing an error because we have uh, used a single quote string to wrap this, but there's an apostrophe s. Okay, so what we can do, if I run this, it will throw me an error. Okay, so what we can do is either we can wrap this up in double quotes, then we can print. Okay, oh, I have to print it gs.info sentence John's car, or you want to use single quotes only. So how should you achieve this? Because it is treating it as a string, then it is not enclosed in another string. Okay, parsing error expected token. So it is saying. So what you can do, there's a concept of escape characters. So if you put backslash, you can see backslash will escape this characters functionality, and it will treat is that as a simple character. So if you run the script again, it will work. Okay. This is the concept of escape characters. We have different type of escape characters. New line. Okay. To give a tabular space. And suppose I want to use a backslash. So backslash and then escape character. Suppose I want to use single quote, which we used here. And similarly, we want to use a double quote. Okay. So suppose now the sentence, suppose sentence 2. What is sentence 2? So sentence 2 is John is a good boy. Okay. And we have placed a new line character. So now what will happen? Now let's copy this and paste. You can see John is a, then we have a new line character. It will break the line and enter into a new line. And this will print in a new line. This is the functionalities of escape characters. So is used for new line. T is used for tabular space. Suppose you want to give a space more than a single space. So if I run this script, you can see we have a tabular space, more than one space. Backslash and then simple single quote and double quote. Okay. So these are the functionality of escape characters. Okay. Then let's comment out this printing line. Now, suppose what will happen is, suppose this is 5 in number and we are adding it to a string. What will be the result? So the result will be 55 in string because internally, what will happen is internally, suppose you want to add, okay, suppose you want to add 5 string plus to a number. So internally, it will convert number to string. Just like we have seen, if we compare 5 with double equals to 5, it will return true because internally it the number, if we compare the number or add subtract a number to a string, it will convert to string. Okay, so to solve this problem, we have used the concept of triple equals to, where it will not only check the display value but also the data type. Okay, so that's why it is returning 55 in string because this is string and internally it will convert 5 plus 5. It will concatenate two strings. That is why. Okay. Now we have several functions in string which are very important. We have a suppose we have variable full name. Okay. So the full name is John Gilchrist. Okay. So I want to count the length of this string. So I can use full name dot length. It will return me the length. So the length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it will return me a value of 14. Okay. Then suppose I want to use a function which will like slice the values. Suppose I want only and only this part, John. So I can slice it gs.info full name dot slice. Now slice and we have objects. So suppose start number and end number. Okay, so these both are optional. So suppose I want to provide index of the first number. So from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I run this, it will return me the John keyword. So let me explain you indexing also. What is indexing? So on the back end, let me look at the whiteboard. So now like what is indexing? Okay, what is indexing? What is indexing? Suppose this is John Hillcrest. Okay, so length is simple, like length is 1, 2, 3, 4. But in back end, in systems, in systems, computer systems, or basically back end, we store these strings starting from 0. So this is the 0th place, this is the first, this is the second, third, fourth, fifth, because space is also a place. So in backend systems, we store the values starting from 0. So generally, whenever we will provide index 0, it means first place. Okay. And the last index is generally name dot length minus 1. Why? Because the length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The length is 14 minus 1. So the last index will be 13 because we are starting from 0. So if we count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 13. Okay. So indexing is basically storing values in backend, and we will store values starting from 0. So that is why I have given this 0 and 4 will be this. So this is the start and this is the end. But in slicing, we are not including this 4. Okay, so let me write it so you can explain it better. Is indexing is starting from 0. Okay, 0 to length length minus 1. Okay, now this slice function will start index and end index, but end index is not inclusive, which means so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we write 6, so 6 is I. So if we write 6, it will only include up to 5 fifth because end index is not inclusive. you can see G, only John G. Okay. So I know this concept is a little tricky, but if you uh, practice and review this lecture, you will get it. Okay. And yes, also use Chrome for and Google to like clarify your doubts. Okay. And we have also different functions like, let me tell it quickly. So suppose uh, gs.info for to print. Okay. And suppose I want to replace full name dot replace. So I want to replace search value. Suppose I want to replace John with Max. Okay. So run script. So now John will be replaced to the Max. So now it is Max replaced. Okay. So we have a replace function, and then we have split function. Okay. So split is also an important function, not gs.split. Okay. So first let me tell variable fruits. Okay. Suppose we have a string of fruits like banana, apple, okay, mango, berries. Okay. Now I want to split this string and store it in an array. So we will cover array in the next lecture. But for now, array is it like a simple like basically array is a data structure to store values in an organized manner and in a continuous manner. So if we use fruits dot split and splitter, now we have to provide a splitter. So I have to split whenever there is a comma. So if I run this and I want to print string, run this. So now the same thing, but if I write the type of, it will give me an object because array stores. So in JavaScript, everything stores in object. Okay. So we will cover this in next lecture, like how we can use this. Okay. So yep. So we can use split to split it, and then suppose we have spaces and in the front and in the back and in the back. Okay. So if I use there's a function known as gs.info full name dot split trim. So it will trim the spaces. I run this. You can see there are no spaces. And if I print it without trim, it will show me spaces just like this. There are spaces, but using trim, spaces will get removed. Okay, I think that's it. So we have covered logical operators and type conversions. Then we have Boolean conversion of truthy and falsy values. Then we have talked about string concatenation, escape characters, and several functions in the string like length, slice, replace, split, trim. Okay, so uh, on the next lecture we will cover array and if-else statements. Okay, so yes, that's it for today's video. Bye bye, guys. Thank you.